It's actually been surprisingly a minute since I did something in front of the camera here, but let's just get right into it.
X gon' give it to you. Fuck, wait for you to get it on your own. X gon' deliver to you.
What's up, my Nimrods? It's your boy, Paul from Team APS, with a different skin color. I just want to take a minute to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for spending just a couple of minutes with me here today, talk about a children's card game we both mutually enjoy so fucking much. If it's your first time here, don't be afraid to take that subscribe button, dick slap it, and stay up to date when I upload some subpar Yu-Gi-Oh content. But today, I just want to talk about a card that I saw just got released in the OCG, and I really like it. So spoilers for the next Yu-Gi-Oh set out in the OCG, which is Soul Fusion. I believe it's a core set, are slowly coming out through that of Yu-Gi-Oh organization, and one card got released just yesterday, and it's a card that I really feel the fuck out of, and that card is none other than Condemned Witch, the Wicked Bitch. The Wicked Bitch isn't actually part of the card, I just thought that was clever. Condemned Witch is a level 4 Dark Fairy effect monster with 100 attack, 2000 defense, and you can only use each of this card's name once per turn. When it's normal summoned, you can add one forbidden quick play spell card from your deck to your hand, except Forbidden Graveyard. And during your opponent's main phase, quick effect, you contribute this card, special summon one level 4 fairy from your deck, except Condemned Witch. I really like this card a lot, not only for the lore behind the card, but also just the card design in general. I'm gonna fix this camera because it's actually irritating me. So obviously, just from reading the card text and, you know, vaguely looking at the artwork of the card, we can kind of pull from it that this artwork's lore is supposed to come from the forbidden quick play spell cards in the form of Dress, Chalice, Scripture, and Lance. Up until now, we actually didn't really have any idea what these forbidden cards were actually supposed to be alluding to, as the lore really didn't connect them in any way. They just looked like some innocent chick picking up some weapons and cups of various sort. But now we have a card that kind of ties it all together, and there's a similar card that we could actually look at that maybe was supposed to be the precursor for that, and that was Condemned Maiden. Condemned Maiden is something rather useless. It's like you can activate a quick play spell card from your hand on your opponent's turn, just one of them, and that card's bad, but it's actually kind of supposed to look like this artwork, I guess. But Condemned Witch, oh my god, I fucking love Condemned Witch. Condemned Witch's stat line isn't totally impressive, but it's actually not supposed to matter as much because you're supposed to tutor it out into a different monster. That's where its second effect of during your opponent's main phase, you contribute it and then special summon one level 4 fairy monster from your deck, except Condemned Witch. Now, I actually ended up taking a look at the entire card pool for that of fairies, and I was actually very disappointed of how, like, small the card pool actually is. I actually just compiled a very small list of cards that I think would actually be useful with this effect from Condemned Witch, and there actually isn't a lot of them. The level 4 fairy card pool is already very small, but the actual decent ones from that are even smaller. I'm just going to go over real quick a couple of the ones that I think are a little bit more useful, and we'll talk about them. The first one that I know a lot of people actually talk about is ARIA, the Melodious DIVA, and that is when this special summon card is on the field, melodious monsters you control cannot be targeted by card effects or be destroyed by battle. Now, ARIA is a kind of neat card because it actually kind of supplies the entire melodious archetype with a soft lock in a way, being the fact that you can't destroy them by battle or target them by card effect still kind of makes them a bitch to get around. So I think a really cool thing you can do on your turn is focus your entire melodious plays into just bringing out boss monsters or bringing out relatively strong monsters, and then on your opponent's turn, you also get to add a forbidden card from your Condemned Witch, but then trade it out into ARIA, which creates kind of a soft lock or additional protection for all your melodious monsters. I think that's pretty valuable. And again, being able to add a forbidden quick play spell card from your deck to your hand, like Chalice, Lance, Dress, or Scripture, that's no joke either. It's just a free plus, but it's also actually really good. Some of the forbidden cards actually have competitive viability and have seen multiple competitive play. Really, the main ones you see people talking about is a card like Lance or a card like Chalice. Lance will protect your monster from spells or traps for the entire turn at the cost of losing 800 attack, and then Chalice will negate the effects of a monster but raise its attack by 400. Both of them actually very powerful. I think Lance is a card that we can look at that kind of has been phased out due to time, as Lance was amazing in a format like Dino Rabbit where trap cards just reigned king and you had to deal through a back row of like 5 cards to be able to make plays. We don't really see that anymore as trap cards kind of fall off the face of the earth and hand traps become that new shit. So Lance doesn't really hold that much competitive viability, but Chalice is a card that still often comes up. Forbidden Chalice is an extremely powerful card because if you're working around maybe a floodgate monster, you can add Chalice from your deck to your hand on your turn and then negate that card's effect to be able to make your plays go through. This was a popular tech choice in that of Zodiac format where dealing around a Dryden could end up being difficult. So it actually just ended up being a good play to hit it with Chalice, make its attack 400 and make it lose all of its attack stats and defense stats, and then just beat over it or make your plays as you can because you don't have to worry about that pop. Forbidden Chalice is a card that still sees a lot of competitive play throughout different formats, and it's just when a floodgate monster gets good is when you see this card start to pop up and the ultis get super expensive again, but oh my god, they're so gorgeous, so you just have to get them anyways. Forbidden Chalice is a great card. The fact that you're able to add it off a Condemned Witch, fucking amazing. Back to other monsters that are kind of good. We also have Barrier Statue of the Heavens, which is a light level 4 fairy where no monsters can be special summoned except for light monsters. Really simple effect, but if time has proven anything, barrier statues can actually end up being good in some formats. This format I don't believe is one of them. I don't believe barrier statues will be great in the long run, but they used to be really good. Barrier statues come in and out of play where special summoning can be the dominant form of a deck, but if any deck is able to like normal summon a monster with more than 1,000 attack, you can beat over the barrier statue and make your plays like normal. Of course, you're going to be missing your battle phase at that point, but at that point, your opponent wasted an entire card summoning a monster that literally did nothing. Like if we look at right now, summoning a TRICKSTAR CANDINA or even normal summoning a Licorice can get over Barrier Statue of the Heavens and really nothing is wrong from there. It doesn't stop you from special summoning a card like Purple Nightfall or summoning a card like Mech Knight Blue Sky. So you're not really turning off too much with Barrier Statue of the Heavens, but it is an option, I guess. Again, Barrier Statues is one of those things that comes in and out of competitive play, and it really just depends on the format. Right now, I do think they're garbage, and I do think Barrier of the Statue of Heavens is especially garbage because the light pool of cards is huge, and a lot of them actually end up being just generically good cards. Like I said, the Mech Knights. But whatever, it's another competitive option nonetheless, and there's another one in the form of DARKLORD Nurse REFICULE. Now, Nurse REFICULE is tied to a deck called Nurse Burn, which especially uses the effect that allows you to deal life point damage with cards that would normally gain so. This is kind of a gimmicky burn deck that also uses a card like Battery Action to Samochi, which again flips the effects of life point gaining cards to deal damage instead. This deck kind of got a boost, an indirect boost, in the sense where Nurse REFICULE actually got an indirect searcher when DARKLORD support came out, so its name was changed to actually work with that. But the deck actually never did surface into being good. Yes, summoning Nurse REFICULE and flipping 3 gift cards on your opponent feels mighty fine when you're able to do it, but it's actually something that just doesn't happen that often. So I don't think this is something we can really look at. You have another searcher, sure, and a way to protect it in the form of, I guess, even Dress if you want to protect it from being targeted by cards like maybe Effective Ailer. Overall, I think Nurse Burn was already in a spot where if it was going to do something with its 3 searcher card, it would be doing something. But then again, it is not, and I think just regular chain burn variants are better, less gimmicky, that's for sure. So besides the Melodious Diva, there really hasn't been anything that's knocking your socks off, I'm sure, from the way I'm putting it. But here's a couple other ones that might make a little more sense. Bountiful Artemis as well as Power Angel Valkyria are 2 cards that I think could be at the cream of the crop for this card pool. Bountiful Artemis, if you activate a counter spell card, you get to draw a card immediately after it. And then Power Angel Valkyria, if you negate the activation of a spell trap or monster effect, you add 1 light fairy monster, from your deck to your hand. So those are kind of cool to be able to get on your opponent's turn if you're playing a counter fairy deck, because that strategy just revolves around negating shit. And when you negate shit, you can either add a light fairy from your deck to your hand, or draw a card, depending on which one you choose. And again, on top of that, you get the free card in the form of Chalice, or Lance, or Dress or Scepter, whatever you pick. Again, that free card's just huge. I keep bringing that up, but the fact that you can add Chalice from your deck to your hand and still be able to actually make a broken play to tutor it out for something sick, that's amazing. I think these are probably 2 of the best cards you'll be seeing off this effect, just because they do play off the fact that you're going to be doing something on your opponent's turn, presumably negating stuff. So I think these are the 2 kind of best cards out of that, but there's still 2 other cards that people tend to talk about, so I'll go over those 2. Princessin, or Cinderella as it should have been named, where if it's special summoned, you can special summon 1 Pumpkin Carriage from your deck, and if you control the Golden Castle, you can add a Glass Slippers from your deck. I gotta look up what Pumpkin Carriage does, because now I'm actually curious. Yeah, that's actually nothing special either. Pumpkin Carriage protects your Golden Castle, and also Princessin can attack directly, but you special summon this on your opponent's turn, so if your opponent just yams it, gets over it, you're kind of screwed. I mean, yeah, it's great that you're getting another free card off the fact that you tribute your Condemned Witch for Princessin, but is that free card actually doing anything when your opponent can just attack over it for free? I don't know why people keep talking about these when these aren't even that great on your opponent's turn. We gotta remember that this Condemned Witch effect is only during your opponent's main phase, so you gotta think of the cards that actually get value out of that. And that same kind of argument goes for the last card that people say, and that's Star Seraph Scepter, which when it's normal or special summon, you can add 1 Star Seraph monster from your deck to your hand. And the combo with this is if you have Scepter plus Chair, you can go Scepter, add Chair, Special Chair, and draw 2 cards, which is fucking sick. But then you just have 3 monsters on the field. I mean, you got to cycle 2 cards, but those monsters would have been so much more useful if you were actually able to just put them into fucking, I don't know, EVILSWARM big dude. What the hell's that guy's name? The rank 4 guy. EVILSWARM OUROBOROS. Yeah, that's that big dark dude I was talking about. So why would you exhaust your entire hand resources to bring out Scepter when it's just going to get attacked over? I don't get it. It's not even like you can add another copy of Scepter so you can, in theory, set yourself up for the next turn to make that play, because Star Seraph Scepter can't add itself. So I don't know why people kind of suggested this as an option. There's a lot of weird options people have suggested. Like, I don't think Princessin, Scepter, or Barrier Statue are even that great options, but they're options nonetheless. But the very limited amount of options that this card Condemned Witch does shine in, I think makes it alright, and I know this card pool is only just going to grow with time, which will make it a better card. But even that being said, it's just 4 forbidden cards that it can choose from: Lance, Chalice, Scripture, Dress. I almost forgot for a sec. None of those cards are actually inherently bad. I think Scripture is probably the worst of the bunch there, but even the best of the bunch there is absolutely incredible in the form of Chalice and Lance. So I think this card has a lot of viability. I like the card a lot, though. I don't know if it'll see competitive play. It kind of sucks that you can't pair it with Ties of Brethren because of the fact that it's dark. You can only bring out like Nurse Reficule plus some other garbage monsters that nobody's going to play. So I mean, the fact that it doesn't work with that kind of sucks. The fact that it only gets to effect with a normal summon also kind of sucks, but hey, I still think this card's pretty sick. Not only from the background of this card, like the lore and everything, with, I guess, collecting all the forbidden pieces makes you the wicked bitch itself, but also having a fact that we can search out one of these powerful forbidden cards, I think is pretty dope. Let me know what you guys think of Condemned Witch down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what you guys think. And that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, definitely subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. Nim signing out.